Julia. We are here in the greenhouse of Hick. It's your second time here?
Third or fourth, actually. The
Okay,
last
fourth.
session was here also. It's a new experience, absolutely, but it's kind of fun. So you can simultaneously speak about new ideas and see how the crops is growing. So
Exactly.
it's a nice location.
I mean, fourth time, strawberries are not there yet,
No.
but maybe over 4 times you can
Yeah,
can
we're
see
waiting.
Waiting. Your background is not in greenhouses
No.
necessary. You come from another background.
Absolutely. I have a master's degree in physics. To be more specific, it's physics of solid state. So
Solid
basically,
state.
I was studied the structures, different structures with nanoparticles, without nanoparticles. And now I'm trying to make more structurized vision on new technology and innovation. It's kind of funny, actually. And it helps a lot because when you have such a background, you learn how to make a raw concept, idea, or assumption into the algorithm which can work in reality. So basically, you know how to analyze information, structurize it, and make a proposal out of it, and it helps a lot. And yes, during the last years, I was an entrepreneur myself, where I studied some economics on top of that, and financials, because I had to.
Because you had to.
Yeah.
Why did you had to?
Because of course you can rely on your partners, you can rely on your accountant, but it's your responsibility. It is your company, and you should know how to read all the financial reports. You should know how to make it. And the funny thing, it surprised me a lot that when you speak not to auditor or accountant of the higher, let's say, certification qualification, junior or medium, most of them don't really know how to make a financial model. So they used to use software to calculate EBITDA and everything. And in my case, I needed to make a working and nicer looking financial model to present it to investors and so forth. And for now, as far as I know, there are no software providers who can do it for you. So you just type all the data and you have a financial model in the end. It's still really raw.
Wow.
So yeah, this is how it happened.
How did you end up in food? Like food itself?
When I moved to the Netherlands 13 years ago, I first worked in small engineering bureau. And actually from there, the idea came how to use pulsed electric fields for food.
What does that mean?
Because in our startup, we developed a machine which use electric fields, pulses, to rupture the bacteria inside the liquid. It sounds a bit difficult, I know, but you can imagine, for example, you have a balloon, you have a needle, and just pump it. So if your pulse is strong enough, meaning your needle is sharp enough, you can rupture the bacteria. It's very simple example.
So for
but
food safety purposes?
For food safety purposes, yes. Because this technology, pulsed electric fields, is already presented on the market, but from the different perspective. It's used for extraction, not for bacteria inactivation. And we decided to choose really difficult path because food safety is extremely difficult to penetrate. Yeah, and it worked, actually. So we made initial research, then we received the first financing from RVO, made a project, and we started to work really closely with potential customers, with farmers. We decided to target milk, also not the best choice.
Why?
Extremely conservative, very conservative. And farmers, they really look on each other the same actually as in horticulture. If my neighbor does it, I will do it as well, but in dairy, it's a bit different. If the big player does it, I will do it. So you should target from the very beginning the big corporate. It's not really a dead end, but as I said, for us it was a bad timing because first Corona happened, then I don't know, can I say it, like war in Ukraine
Yeah.
happened. So it influenced a lot on the investment landscape, on the innovation landscape, from the perspective of innovation centers of big industry players. So it was difficult, really difficult, and required a lot of time to pass the certification process. We shouldn't pass exactly novel foods because we didn't change any composition of milk, but we still had to have this dossier of the proof from preferably food university like Vur, and most probably the prices for their research. It's a sky high.
For sure, for a startup.
Yeah. So we engaged with a couple of different universities for a bit lower price, made a subsidy project out of it. We succeeded, but still, let's be realistic. Investors would like to see the return of investment as soon as possible, not in 10 years. It should be preferably within 5 years, and they don't want to invest in research. They don't. So here is where I see that hardware innovation is a struggle. It's extremely difficult. And AI innovation can be a good step. It's a bit easier to integrate. It's a bit easier to produce the first trial product. You don't need a research facility for that.
No.
No, you don't need really equipment except your laptop, of course. So I see that it is more beneficial for investors and also for the venture studio.
You had your own startup, you said. You already gave away with what you have been doing.
Mhm.
Was it your first time experience as well? Like,
Yeah, it was the first time.
how was that? Because you came and you said you had also your corporate life.
Mm-hmm.
Then you made a decision
Yeah.
of going into entrepreneurship, which is risky.
But it's interesting. Come on, it's. I was really bold by that time, and I was really wanted to make a product which is completely new, and it really helps to the industry. It's real. So by those time, I didn't really like AI or software because it is needed, absolutely, but you cannot really feel it.
No.
It's a bit different.
Yeah.
And this is solid thing that you can see, test, and also when I imagine that I can see on the shelves the product which is processed with my machine, well, I would be proud of it, right? It's great.
Yeah, you.
So that is why. And also, I like challenges. I don't like sitting and solving the same routine every day, every year. And working in a startup, it really gives you the possibility to work in the different roles simultaneously. For most of the people, it's overwhelming. I understand. For me, also, after 5 years, let's say, I started to feel this pressure. But in the very beginning, it was very interesting, and I like the people with whom I worked. So yeah, that is why.
How did the idea came into?
It was not my idea; it was the idea of my partner, who was the technology director. So initially, he worked in pulse power electronics, and he decided to use it a bit differently for food. That is how we came up with the idea, and also we participated Start Life in 2019. So yeah, it was absolutely new sector for me.
And also, then an accelerator is totally new.
Yeah, yeah. We participated in Novelty, in Start Life, but it's very important step for each startup, absolutely, because you immediately have an access to the network you need, to partly investors, but mainly where I see the most of the benefits it's the access to industry players. It's like a warm contact. You don't need to try to go there and pursue them to try your technology, which is, let's be realistic, very hard and almost impossible,
Yeah.
right? You have a partner, a business incubator, who helps you to access these customers. So it's
People
perfect.
hardly forget it, right? That if there's an ecosystem player,
Mm-hmm.
in this case it was an incubator
Yeah.
of accelerator start life.
Mm-hmm.
HIC is kind of the same in that sense, right? It can
Yeah.
give you the
Yeah. Yeah.
access
Yeah.
to which is critical
Mm-hmm.
for innovation and successful innovation. And I
Mm-hmm.
think because of the time, right? Because
Yeah.
as a startup you don't have time, and people in big
Exactly.
companies, you came out of a corporate
Mm-hmm.
where you have, let's say, more time and more money
And more resources.
and more
Yeah.
resources. That mindset shift must be challenging, no? Like when you stepped into a startup or from a
You need some time to adopt. That's true, absolutely, because you don't have a whole team behind, a marketing team, financial, and all that. You don't have it. But once again, the business incubators, they pretty much trying to fill this gap. So if you need help, if you need employees or scientific opinion or business opinion, you can appeal to them and they can help you to find a good partners. So this works quite good.
that's and how did you find yourself like Hick? How did you end up here?
Ah, okay. So first of all, when we filed the bankruptcy, not the best period. I took half a year just to rest, to get all the things together, because when we did that, I understood how mentally exhausted I am. It's true.
The bankruptcy part.
Yes, the bankruptcy part, it
I'm
was
mentally
really
exhausted because you were like running around actually.
because we were trying so hard to twist things to different angles to make it work. So I can say that we did everything we could and even more. But it didn't help. It didn't work. Can happen. But you still need some time to think over once again about the process. What could be done better? What factors led to this result? It's just needed for you to settle everything in your head and just to move forward. And I decided to continue working with startups, new ideas, because that's what I'm enjoying to do. Despite this negative experience with the company that recently closed, I think all the lessons and all the situations we had can be used by other startups, so I can really help. And also, I can use this knowledge not to make same mistakes, maybe make a new ones, I don't know, with a new venture. So I also now look on the new ideas differently, from the different angle.
That's an interesting one. What do you mean? Like you look already differently at ideas?
Well, let's fantasize a bit. Assuming, first of all, there is a simple statement that mostly we grow the startup as a spin-off from university research group.
Yeah.
It's like
Just
known
then.
fact, right?
Yeah.
Okay, assume you are a co-founder and most probably you are this last lucky PhD who participated in the research on the very last phase, right? When all the hard part is done and you can make a company out of it, right? You are from the research. You don't really know about business. Maybe know a bit, but not in practice. And what drives you? Exactly what I said. My venture, my idea can make difference. This will be definitely successful because there is a huge benefit, huge point behind it. I do something big. For example, I don't know, I reduce water usage, I reduce energy consumption, or I improve yield
Yeah.
of plants, crops. But once again, other people, all the rest of the world, look on this differently. It's just another idea. And here I basically saying the same words as Gabino said last time, but I agree with him completely. That it's just another idea. You should look on that more critically. You should look on that from the market perspective. You should first, before you make an venture, before you even think about making a venture, you should go to potential customer. You should speak with them. We did it as well, but on the first year after we made the venture, we should have done this earlier. We visited about 30 farms actually.
30.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite a lot, quite intense. So we just
But you
needed
needed
to,
more, you said.
yes, you needed more. So only when you see that this idea really interesting for your potential customer, you can make a venture. And this is what we are basically working on in Venture Studio. We're looking on ideas from the customer perspective, from adoption perspective. And the first thing we do is we are looking for the bottlenecks, why it shouldn't work. And maybe it's right approach. Yeah.
Why it shouldn't work. Yeah, I mean, that is a critical point that is needed
Yeah.
because, as you said as well, you can be very like attached as well to your idea,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's also hard to get around the critical side. What do you think is like you come from the food, you have there your startup. Now it's more like egg focuser in the greenhouses. Is there is it like plug and play, or is it?
Hmm. It's
No,
a good
there's
one.
definitely like differences in mindset in well,
There are differences, definitely, absolutely. It's not a plug and play, but the systematical approach to assessing the idea and new venture is roughly the same. Yes, you need to speak to potential stakeholders. Yes, you need to speak to potential customers. And inside Venture Studio at HIC, we already have quite a broad expertise from other participants of the Venture Studio. That's actually brilliant because just imagine if all of us would be only from crop growing, I don't know, one
yeah,
sector, what will happen?
yeah,
We will
yeah.
all assess this idea from, let's say, one perspective, because our reaction, our even thoughts and reaction on what is happening and what we hear, it depends on our experience, right? If all of us would have the same experience, what will happen? No diversity. It's not good.
I can completely see the benefit of having different perspectives at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning
Yeah.
of the startup. I know from previous talk with I think it was with Gabino, you perfectly said it in a way that how normally startups get around, and you already given an example about a researcher from the university that can grab into, like you in the whole phase of the beginning, you're not tested actually from
Mm-hmm.
different perspectives. Like most of the time you started them with a friend, or
Yeah. Yeah.
like somebody that you close by with kind of the same background
Mm-hmm.
and competences. Julia, like now you're here in the greenhouse sector. Actually, we're in a greenhouse. What is a big challenge you see that you would like to tackle?
The big challenge, I also look on that where my expertise and knowledge can really help. And for example, the problem of replacing peat with other substrate is very interesting. There you have a lot of challenges, and there my knowledge of physics, let's say, can help. Also robotics.
Is the challenge of speed change? Is that because
Yeah,
there are structures already in place for
yeah, yeah,
several
yeah,
years?
yeah, yeah, yeah. because it's extremely harmful for the environment to produce peat. And we need to think about alternative substrates. And at the moment, we have coconut fiber. Rock wool is not the best way. I know it's still widely used, but it's not the best option. So we're trying to think about that
Why is it not the best option?
because it's difficult to utilize it. That's the main problem. So we're looking for something more biodegradable, biological. So far, we only have this coconut fiber. We're also thinking about other materials that can be used, but it's very challenging, and maybe we will even pause this idea. It's not settled yet. Also, robotics, as I said, very interesting. But from this perspective, I need to know more how the crops is growing, and that is why I'm listening very carefully all the other guys who's from this sector. For example, from today's session, how the tomatoes grow. So yeah,
That is something you should, like, robotics is also something what people are looking at in the food industry, like in factories
yeah,
and
yeah. But it's extremely difficult to implement it. It's always, when you make a proof of concept, when you even have the first semi-commercial product, you test it on a small location, you come to the big location, big farm, and you're screwed. Most probably, like almost 9 of 10 or 10 of
out of
10.
your own experience, I suppose.
It's not only mine, because I also in a close contact with other startups with whom I
You
was in the Start Life Business Incubator and other, and all of them struggling the problem of scaling exactly. So when you try and you lab tested solution for real farm or real production, it's the most difficult part. You cannot predict everything. So
How did you deal with that when you were at the startup, like in practice? This is your first pilot. How was that set up from like lab going to a pilot?
well, I would say like that. From the third attempt, it worked. So you come to the production plant, you install it, switch it on, something doesn't work, or you have a leakage, or anything else. So you need to disassemble, fix it, do it again. So basically, it's a multiple step project. It always should be. You cannot expect that you will bring your solution and it will immediately work. No, never works like that, unfortunately.
No,
Even with the software, by the way, it doesn't work like that. When you start to test it in real environment,
yeah,
yeah,
I can understand from my own experience. The implementation of a new IT system comes with backups,
yeah, yeah,
and it's always also within the organization is how can you keep them people's mindset towards that same goal, right? That it only gets better, faster, more efficient, etc. But we need to get over those
yeah,
little bumps, like that is holding
exactly.
it back.
Yes, you need to go to multiple cycles, and then you will have more or less finished products. And even then, when you make a first sale, can be some drawbacks. Can be.
What is the hardest lesson you learned after? Now you go in your 8th year
Yeah, yeah.
as an entrepreneur.
The hardest lesson. I think that the hardest lesson was that your customers would always prefer financially translated benefits instead of social benefits, let's say, or
Sustainable
environmental.
benefits,
Yes, exactly.
unless there is no incentive.
That was a bit shame and disappointing, but it is as it is. In the end, startup, it's not a research project, it's a young business, right? And business is making profits. So It's the part of the game. But unfortunately, a lot of co-founders, they mismatch these things. They think that the value I bring to the world is much higher than the money I bring to my stakeholders and investors, but it's vice versa. It's the reality.
I think it's good that you mentioned this because yes, it is
It's
the
a brutal
reality. It's
truth.
the brutal
Yeah.
truth. It's a hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
Julia, I think we come to an ending.
Okay.
What would you like to achieve in the coming, let's say, you come every bi-weekly here, so let's say four times.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 months,
Yeah.
what would you like to achieve?
Well, actually, now I'm working on a new idea, and I really would like to see how it goes. I would like to make it fly. It can be really perspective, but I would need definitely help from my colleagues from Venture Studio.
There's actually my listeners that are growers in the greenhouse sector listening to this. What is an ask to them? Is there something you want specifically like a part of knowledge that you're missing and you would like to talk with an expert, or
Actually, we were speaking a lot in Venture Studio about connecting the growers and companies and researchers, experts. So I really would like to know if the growers, the farmers, would like to take this step. Are they ready to share some knowledge they have with us to build up a sustainable ecosystem and basically the database from where we can propose new innovations for them? Because we really lack partly the transparency and knowledge regarding growing crops and everything from the farmers. So this would definitely help.
an essential one?
Yeah, so please connect to Hick.
Very good, very good. Well, then, is there something you would like to mention before we end this conversation, or did we cover?
No, I think we covered a lot.
We covered a lot.
Yeah.
Then I thank you for your time and
Likewise.
the listeners as well. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.